And welcome back into inside the HBCU Sports Lab. I wanted to bring in this young man. He is tremendous in terms of the work that he's been able to get done as a health. I call you a health and wellness guru, Reg. But full disclosure, this is my freshman roommate. I've watched the transformation of my fraternity brother, and I have to say this, Reg. After listening to you at our fraternity retreat this past weekend, I said I got to get you on the show because the wealth of knowledge and your enthusiasm for helping people get to the next level within their fitness journey is unbounded. So, man, welcome to the show, bro.
Man, I appreciate you inviting me, and the check is in the mail. I need you to sort of be my hype man every time I have to speak. And
Oh
let me
man.
say this too, to you, Chuck. How cool is it that your mom is on here? Hey, Miss Bishop, how you doing? It's been a long time since I seen you. For those of y'all again, I'm a kid from the SIP. So I grew up I wasn't just Chuck's freshman roommate. I've known Chuck, man, almost your entire life. I mean,
Yeah,
in
yeah.
church, I could throw a rock and hit his house. So the fact that I saw your mom's name pop up, I was just that blew me away. So
I
hey,
know,
Miss Bishop.
right? Man, appreciate you coming on. So let's start here, man, because I'm real curious. Like, how did you even transition? How did you get involved into health and wellness and really making this, your life's journey?
So I would say it's probably two phases of life for me. The first phase was ironically our other freshman roommate, Jabari Lee. Shout out Jabari if you get a chance to see this. Uh, when we were freshmen, he had a neighbor who had opened a gym that was not too far from campus, and he said, "Hey, man, why don't we go and work out?" And I had never, joined a gym. I'd never really done any type of consistent routine. So when I walked in that facility and had a chance to meet with the owner, his neighbor, and kind of observe what was happening, I just kind of something in me got hooked. And I kept going back and kept going back. And I thought it was just miraculous that you could take whatever you brought into that situation and morph it if you had the energy and the desire to do so. And I found that to be intriguing that, a little skinny kid from Jackson could add on muscle and do other things. And that got me hooked, and that started my fitness journey. So from there, went on, got my personal training certification, and that was just sort of my thing, personal trainer. And we graduated, and I kind of had that in my back pocket. Went into corporate America, as all of us did, and was trying to juggle the two,
Mm.
and had that sort of itch in me that I want to do more of this, and ended up relocating to Atlanta and worked with another buddy of ours, Dave Dubose, and we both sort of having the wellness background decided to make it a more permanent thing and open a personal training studio. And that just solidified it for me. It was something about being able to work with people and help them reach specific goals in regards to their health. Um, but shifting forward, this thing called 9/11 came, people's priorities shifted, got back into corporate America, and ended up just kind of diving into that. But I realized I couldn't escape who I was. I was
Mm.
always sort of, even though I wasn't full time training, I was still in that mindset of wanting to help people be better, get better clarity. And 2015 came, and my world got turned upside down. I lost my mom for health reasons. And it was one of those things where I literally felt like I should have and could have been able to do more to save her.
Mm.
And it was at that point in 2015 that I said, corporate America ain't my thing. I was grateful for what it had provided for me, but I realized that my purpose was to really work with people and help them find more clarity so that they could make better decisions, because I felt like that's what I wanted to be able to do for my mom. And I
Mm,
was hell bent on making sure that if it was in my power, no one else would end up in a situation saying, I didn't know.
right.
So
Yeah.
at that point, just added more, notches to the belt, turned it from personal training into a more holistic approach, and got some additional learning and nutrition and health coaching, and then decided to really take it full steam ahead and became a board certified health and wellness coach, as well as a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner. Again, still a certified personal trainer. So really wanted to be able to address people holistically, because a lot of us fall into this bucket of wanting to look at our health as a one-dimensional approach, and it's not.
Hmm.
Think about it. Most of us look in the mirror or get out of the bed and tell ourselves we want to be better, but we tend to say, I gotta work out. I gotta work out more. Or we say, I gotta eat better. I need to do better with my eating. Or, oh, I gotta, focus on my mental health. It's all of that. And until we stop looking at things from a one-dimensional perspective, we're not going to get more than that one-dimensional result.
Hmm. That's a that's a great segue. I
Man,
got a
that's deep.
yeah. That's pretty deep. I mean, and I got 1,000 questions, but I'm gonna let AD jump in here and fire away.
I got to lighten the mood up a little bit after that, my brother, because
My
you
bad.
went you went to nah. It's all good. That's what we do. We get to some serious topic, but we like to have some fun also in the midst of it. So I'm gonna start off with the fun part. Give
Okay.
me a Chuck. Yeah, I'll say y'all grew up together. Give me a Chuck story, something that you can share with us, a funny Chuck story.
I, you know, I don't know if it's a story per se, but I will say this about Chuck, especially our freshman year. I was so happy that he made it from freshman to sophomore year, because, and I'm sorry, Miss Bishop. I'm sorry that this was the one you were on. But when I tell you that Chuck was sitting at the desk, which just happened to be in front of my bed, on Madden, playing Madden. I, if he wasn't in class, he was playing Madden,
Yeah, yeah. I
and
was.
then he'd want to play you because Chuck, being the professional that he is at that game, took pride in talking trash to you as he took your socks off of your feet. So after about 3 or 4 rounds of him like beating me silly, hey man, come on, let's play a game. No, I'm not playing you. And then he started inviting other people to come in our room. So you'd wake up any time of the day and there'd be like 5 dudes in there, and Chuck would just be talking smack, um, taking pride in,
Ah,
taking people's lunch money. So that was our freshman year.
yeah,
All right,
that sums it up.
I just got that. Was that thing of Genesis days?
That was Sega Genesis days. Yeah. It
Okay.
was Sega Genesis.
I
Going
got
back
you.
to Bill Walsh college football. So yeah, it goes back a ways, man.
All right. All right. Now that we've lightened the mood a little bit, now I can get into my little bit of a serious question before we take our first break. Uh, Now, a lot of us, when I say us, African Americans, especially African American males, uh, high blood pressure, heart disease, pre-diabetes, diabetes, cholesterol, ED, you name it. We are the leaders in those categories. So, from with what you do in health and fitness, what are some simple things? Because if it's hard, we're not gonna do it. So, what are some simple things if we are trying to tackle one of those issues that we could do to get on the right path to curb it, so that we aren't on about 10 pills a day?
Hmm.
AD, that's a great question. And, I deal with that probably more than anything else. So metabolic health is huge, not just in our community, but just huge across the board for various reasons, because all of us, knowingly or not, are basically walking around here with what I call metabolic chaos.
Mm.
So we tend to look at the thing, which is the complaint or the symptom, and again, we kind of get back into that one-dimensional aspect of it and go, man, I got high blood pressure, or maybe you got a couple of those things, and then you start to focus completely on, I got this thing, this is the problem, when it's not. It's more of your lifestyle and your decisions and choices you're making, because none of us are like your cars that you drive. We don't have a dashboard of, interface that pops up and says, this is what's going on with you, address it. So think of those as the complaints that are popping up: high blood pressure, or diabetes, or your waistline expanding. That's not the problem. That's the squeaky wheel. That's your body's alert system saying, hey, dude, something's off and I need you to work on it. And then what happens is you didn't pay attention to that first one. So then our body goes, let me send you another one. Hey, man, something's off. We, especially as men, don't have any data on ourselves. And Chuck, you'll remember this from last weekend. I asked everybody to raise their hand to tell me how many data points they knew about themselves: how much you weigh, what your body fat percentage is, what your waist to hip circumference is, just basic, things that you can get from standing on a smart scale, muscle mass. And very few people raise their hand. A smart scale.
Oh, that's
You
not one
can
of
go
the ones
online and
with that
Amazon.
dial. They go like that, huh? Is one you
No,
have to,
that's not the one from your not the one from your high school PE class, which we don't have anymore. That's a huge problem. But I posed the question to provoke thought. How many folks, how many of those men in that room knew about themselves? And very few people raised their hands. Then I said, how many of you know the balance of your checking account?
Mm.
How many of you know, how many cigars you got in your humidor? The room started lighting up with, oh yeah, I know that. So the problem with black males in general, and our culture, is that we have no clue what's going on underneath the hood. We're more focused on the exterior than we are the interior. And because of that, there are simple things that you could understand, and then there are simple things that you can do to address that. So, and I think I mentioned this when I was with you guys, Chuck, there are 5 foundational elements that I teach to anybody who will listen to me. And
Wait, hold up. Hold those 5 thoughts. Let's do the professional tease. It's time for us to take that break.
Let's take a quick break.
Yes, sir.
Let's take a quick break. We'll come back.
That way we can keep them captivated.
Yeah, and then we'll come back with those 5 motivational.
We'll be back with the 5 foundational elements. Stay tuned.
There you go. Perfect, Reg. We'll be right back here inside the HBCU Sports Lab.
If you think all pads are exactly the same, think again. This is Always Ultra Thins reinvented with the Always Triple Protection System. This pad wicks gushes 90% faster, absorbs even more so you can feel dry, and locks odors in. Rethink your pad for up to 100% leak-free and odor-free comfort with the totally reinvented Always Ultra Thins. This is always like never before.
The Cuvée Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cuvée.
As technology continues to bring changes to the world of education, it's time we also reimagine teacher professional development. Gone are the days of one-size-fits-all learning that can only be accessed at a specific time and place. The Stride PD Center is an on-demand library of mobile-friendly courses that allow educators to learn anytime and anywhere. Our dynamic courses provide bite-sized learning and help educators advance their knowledge while also gaining professional development hours. The best professional development plans are those that include a level of flexibility and choice for educators. Whether you're a teacher, school, or district, visit us today to take charge of your learning.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they want a law, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
Welcome back here to Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Of course, here with Reggie Gentry, our guest tonight, health and wellness fitness coach and health guru. And we were about to talk about the 5 foundational elements that you outlined right before we went to break. Take us right back into it, man.
Yeah, so, AD, you spoke specifically about simple things, and I'm all about keeping things simple because that's how people stay involved. It has to be something that they can do every single day because it's about consistency. So there are 5 foundational elements that I impress upon people that I work to, people that I talk to, in terms of if you are not managing these things, then you need to start. The first is rest. The second is eating. The third is stress. The fourth is exercise. And the fifth is thought. So that's rest, eating, stress, exercise, and thought. And if you look at those particular elements and look at them in terms of an acronym, it stands for reset. Because each and every one of us need to actually reset our lifestyles so that our bodies can reset. The thing that many of us don't understand is that our bodies will innately heal itself from any and everything that's thrown its way. The problem is our bodies can't do that because they are bombarded with both internal as well as external stressors. So what does that mean? Stressors come in so many different shapes and forms. Internal could be the food that you're eating. Is it whole foods? Is it quality food? Is it the right food for your microbiome, your gut? Do you have sensitivities? These things can be stressors. These are fires that your body has to deal with every single time you eat. We can have external stressors. Sitting in traffic, getting upset. Boss comes to you and says, I need this report in 5 minutes. Having issues at home with the kids or spouse. Environmental issues. We live in these metropolitan areas that are filled with toxins. Those are stressors. So consider our bodies as a whole, walking around every day, trying to manage these internal things we're doing to it, as well as these external things that are sometimes outside of our control. And then with that in mind, understand the body's main function in life is to conserve energy. It can only do a few things at a time. If your body is in a position where it's playing firefighter and putting out all of these fires that are stressors, when does it have a chance to digest? When does it have a chance to repair? When does it have a chance to heal itself? It can't. So, what happens when the body's natural functions that I just mentioned, some of them, what happens when it can't do those things? Diabetes, high blood pressure, fat, because the body could do these things, but I'm putting out so many fires, I can't focus on that because I've only got so much energy and I want to keep you alive. So I'm going to handle the most important stressors first and then get to this other stuff when I can. So going back to the 5 of rest, eating, stress, exercise, and thought, there are specific, simple daily actions we can take with each of those 5 that will allow you to start removing those internal as well as external stressors. That's my focus.
Let me follow up on
Hold on.
something.
I want to make sure I got that acronym. Rest,
Go for it.
eating, stress, exercise, thought.
Yes.
All right, because I wanted to put that in the chat, make sure everybody got that. I wanted to make sure I got that correct.
Mm-hmm.
And Reggie, I want to follow up on something because you're a huge proponent of rest, and that was something that jumped out at me when I've listened to you speak in terms of how much rest plays a part in you just sort of getting back to level set. I mean, and I know I get X number of hours of sleep per night. You know, I'm up. But how do you go about the process of relaxing to the point to where you can get 8 hours? I don't know when the last time I've had 8 hours, but how do you go about that process?
It's called sleep hygiene. You have to figure out what is your sleep hygiene, what is your sleep routine, and you have to keep it simple. So if I were talking to Chuck and Chuck was saying, "Hey man, I can't get that much sleep," I'd say, "Hey Chuck, why?" I'm listening. Why Chuck? Putting you on the spot.
Great question. I mean, Sports Center comes on at 11. I you know, it's a bunch of things.
Okay.
You know, you just
sometimes I have to take a shot in order to relax.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any idea what that alcohol is doing in your system in terms of you and your ability to sleep?
Yeah, actually, it's waking me up about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning to let it back out. That's one of the things that it's doing.
And that's just one thing that it's doing. It's doing a whole lot more that you probably don't want to hear me tell you.
Hey, we here for the truth.
Yeah, but back to your question, Chuck. It's about creating some type of sleep routine, and it's also about understanding, you know, what's most important to you. Is watching Sports Center and only getting 5 hours of sleep important to you, or is recording Sports Center, getting 8 hours of sleep, and then watching the recording maybe once you get up and get your day started? Because when it comes to sleep, think of sleep as your body's ability to top off your tank when you wake up in the morning. So if you knew that you were going to drive from Houston to Atlanta and overnight was going to be the ability to fill up your tank to get you there, would you then go to sleep in whatever required time it took to do that? Or would you say, I'm going to watch Sports Center, get a quarter of that tank topped off, and still try to get to Atlanta?
Understood.
That's what we do. That's normally what we do.
Yeah. Just busy lifestyles. I mean, and then, you know, to follow up on that, maybe you lay down, you know, you're quiet, yada yada, but you still haven't found that something to where you just nod right off, you know.
Because there are things you are unaware of. Because remember, I talked about clarity. It's about understanding very specific things that are hindering your sleep. If you're in a room and the lights are on, that blue light is keeping you awake because it's telling your circadian rhythm that it's still daytime.
Mm.
If you've got a bunch of electronic devices in the room, i.e., TV, phone, computer, and they're on, guess what? Blue light is telling your brain it's still daytime. Why are we trying to go to sleep? It's daytime.
Mm-hmm.
If the room is too warm, hey, it's not time to go to bed yet. We haven't cooled down yet. So you have to analyze your environment, especially when it comes to sleep, to see, is my environment conducive for me even being able to go to sleep?
Sure, sure, sure. Let me ask this question, Reg. I mean, if I'm, couch potato,
Mhm.
just starting to get going, what are some of the kind of the first things in terms of when you take a client in terms of understanding where they are and trying to take them to the next level, from zero to something,
Mhm.
because a lot of people, especially, and I found this very interesting. Summer, you're trying to get the workouts in, and then once we get back in the fall and get back in the football season and start tailgating, yeah, that's where it
Yeah,
tails off.
yeah.
Yeah.
We have to move more. Our bodies were designed to move. The the problem is that most of us, when we finally make the decision to move more, we forget that when we were babies, we first crawled, then we learned how to walk, then we ran. We can be cold turkey, hadn't really had any type of movement in since football season ended, and then all of a sudden we want to go from crawling to running.
Mm.
So the goal is, what can you do to move more consistently? Maybe that's just every hour you getting up from your chair and walking around your house. Maybe that's you getting up from your chair and walking to your mailbox and back. Can you do that every day? Can you do that for a whole week? Okay, you did that for a whole week. Okay, now maybe let's go 4 houses down and back. You've got to crawl in a manner in which, oh, I can do this. I can do this every day.
Mm.
And then build on top of that. And that goes for people who want to jump right back into the gym. Oh, I want to get in the gym and I want to go hit the weights. How about you just get up from your chair and see if you can do a standing body weight squat for 10? How about you just drop to the floor and see if you can do 10 push-ups? And then maybe you just try to do those two things every day and master that. Keep it simple so that you can continue to want to do it. And then feel like at some time, okay, this is my minimum. I've been doing my minimum. Maybe now I'm going to stretch out a little bit because I've been doing this and I've gotten used to it. That's how we got to approach everything. And that goes for eating. That goes for sleeping. Don't try to go hit it out the ballpark. Just get first base.
Sure.
Keep
Sure.
getting first base.
Yeah. It's great stuff. A.D.?
My last question. This is a debate that I've had with a many of people, and it's one of your letters in your reset. I believe it is the first E, and that's eating.
Mm-hmm.
Breakfast specifically.
Okay.
There are a lot of different school of thoughts on breakfast. Some people like me, I believe in breakfast. I don't care what's going on. I don't care how early it is, whatever my schedule is. I'm going to leave myself enough time to cook me some breakfast. If I have to get out the house before I have to cook me some breakfast, I have to stop and get some breakfast somewhere. Even if it's not the healthiest thing in the world, I got to put something in my stomach to start my day. Well, I'm no good to anybody. Some people don't believe in breakfast. And then for those people who believe in breakfast, light breakfast, heavy breakfast, toast and coffee. So how important is breakfast for the body, to get the body started throughout the day, especially when it's controlling some of those things that we were talking about, some of those some of those issues that we tend to have. And if you
Mhm.
choose to eat breakfast, what type of breakfast should it be? Light? Should it be heavy? Cereal? What's or some of the things that you would recommend?
Okay. So let me say this. Everybody and everybody is different. I'm gonna repeat that. Everybody and everybody is different.
I see what you did
Chuck
there.
and I aren't the same.
Mm.
And then it really depends on the individual body in terms of what are your goals? What is your current state of health right now? You have everything from intermittent fasting, eating windows to every kind of different diet that's floating out there. So the main thing when it comes to breakfast is to understand the origin of the word, which most people don't understand. We say breakfast, right?
Break fast.
It's breaking a fast.
Mm.
So when you look at it that way, you realize, in theory, if you've been eating mindfully, your body has gone from 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours or more of not eating. And this is the first opportunity for you to top off everything with the best. So if you look at it that way and say, here is my first moment to now refill all of my reserves with the best of the best, what would I give it? And a lot of times we spend too much time focusing on quantity and not quality. Are you looking at the breakdown and structure of that particular meal? What does your protein ratio look like? What does your carbohydrate ratio look like? What does your fat ratio look like? How does all of that mix into what your goals are? Are you in a place in life where you're trying to burn fat? Do you require more energy than most? Are you trying to build muscle? So it's very hard to say, hey, eat this versus saying, eat for you, eat mindfully,
Mm.
and make sure that whatever you're eating is the best of what you can give yourself. Hydrate. That should be the first thing everybody does. As soon as you wake up, you should hydrate. That's like oil for your body. That's what's going to get your metabolism going, water. And regardless of whether you're doing a big meal one, and that's what I call it. I don't call it breakfast or breakfast. I call it meal one because it's the first meal I get. So I want to make sure I am, for me, getting a very good high amount of protein, because most of us don't get enough of it and we don't get the right quality of protein.
Hmm.
And if we focused on water, protein, and whether you choose for your energy source to be carbohydrates or fat, pick one depending on your situation.
It's good stuff, Reg. That's good stuff. I mean, we honestly can probably go for another 2 hours just talking nutrition, exercise, things of that nature. But my phone is blowing up. I have a lot of people that want to get in contact with you. Definitely want to ask you your contact information, and I know you have June 15th is a big day in terms of starting a new program with regards to health and wellness journey. But definitely wanted to give you an opportunity to get that information out there for the masses.
I appreciate it. So you can visit my website. It's thewholehealthyu.com.
Spell that out.
THE, whole, WHOLE, healthy, HEALTHY, and then UYOU.com. Thewholehealthyu.com. That'll take you to my website. That's the handle for my Facebook page as well as my YouTube page. I try to put a lot of this type of content, out there on all of my pages, because like I said before, my number one goal is to help you find more clarity so that you can make better decisions and then take action.
That's a
And we're
good.
going to try to do that in a simple way. And you mentioned June 15th. That's my next reset program. It's a group program. You can go to Reset 430 if you're interested in registering. It starts Saturday, and that's 30 days of you being in a group of individuals who are like-minded, where I am guiding you through AD, all of those simple daily actions that you can take to remove all of these stressors from your body so that it can do what it wants to do and prepare you for a whole healthier version of you.
It's good stuff, brother. That's good stuff.
I appreciate you, man.
We all need a whole healthier, all of us. So,
hey, man, the goal is to live beyond 150. And if your goal isn't to get beyond where we are today in terms of mortality, 60s, 70s, then I'm probably not the guy you want to talk to. But if you want to not just have some longevity, but actually be able, I'm already planning my 100th birthday party, and I plan on really kicking it and dancing. I want some salsa music. I want to do it up. And why aren't we all thinking that way?
No doubt, no doubt. Great stuff, Reg. We
appreciate you.
I already got people, man. We got to bring him back on. That's like, yeah, we definitely want to.
Hey, man,
especially around football season, tailgating. We need to make sure we get some healthy tips for tailgating. We already got some good summer tips already.
You can take almost any food and make it better, because sometimes that's just what it's about. Make it better.
Interesting stuff, man. Man, I hate to even make a break right here, but we got to make a break for it, bro. Thank you for coming in on Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Appreciate you. Definitely will have to bring you back on, brother. As always, man, good stuff. Good listening to you, and you provided some great information to us tonight.
Thank you, gentlemen. And Miss Bishop, you raised a good boy.
Thank you, good brother. We'll be right back here on Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. We'll close out some things with a little final thoughts. Let's talk a little bit about Celebration Bowl date move.